Right, I appear to be alive. Although I probably should have shared this before doing anything. Hang on a sec. Make sure that everybody knows. I really don't prepare streams properly nowadays, do I? But as more people notice it, they will be tuning in, or will they go and see Harry Ann in an hour's time? Oh god, guys, I'm really bad at this nowadays, streaming, because it's been a while. Oh, hello, Southner. How you doing? You wouldn't believe what's wrong with me, would you? By the sound of my voice, would you? Don't worry, guys. We'll get into everything. Trust me, we'll get into literally everything. I'm just gonna announce to Discord that I am live, so that people can come and watch. There is a new video coming out at some point this week, Sunday, obviously. It's just I just need to render it really, and then choose when I want to upload it. So that's one update. The others will come soon. I'm just doing the shilling, unless people want to help out with that. That would be nice, but I can do it myself. Don't worry about it. Oh dear, it's been an eventful few months for me, to say the least. As some of you will know, and it's good to finally chat to the fans for a while, because you only ever see me in videos nowadays. You don't really see me like stream unless it's on other people's channels. But I know that should change, and I have been working on that. I've been upgrading, shall we say, the setup, because now that I've got a new job, I can afford more stuff. So that's good. Although that also means I have less time, because it's also full time, and it's quite unsociable hours. I don't have a lot of work-life balance at the moment, but I'd rather that right now than nothing else. We're almost done with the shilling, and then we can get to the streaming properly, which is something I really should do before I do this, but whatever, I don't care. Anyway, how's the chat going? Because it has been a very long time since I streamed, and I think I did actually say that I would stream more, but things get in the way, life gets in the way. What can you do, guys? Right, so now that almost all of this is out the way, this shilling, yep, it is now done. Let us begin, shall we? Silent Southner. Well, I stumbled upon a recommended channel and we share a name. What's the crack? Well, I don't know. I mean, are you into political commentary and stuff like that of a non-leftist bent? Then that is for you, fellow Mitch. But if you're not into that, maybe it's not the best for you. I don't know why I'm being recommended to random people like that, but hey, you know what? Thank you, YouTube. So anyway, first update. How did Nomos go? Nomos went really well. It was nerve-wracking, to say the least, because for those of you who don't know, I went to this event last week and I did a speech. I did a little speech, guys. Can you believe it? I was dead nervous. I didn't not necessarily because I had to do it. It was like, how do I say it? And then once I got up there and just did it, hey, thank good, Mitch. Once I got up there and did it, it was like, oh, this is easy. I could do more of this. It's just that because of the nature of the venue, it was like kind of hard to do the speech, but we did it nonetheless. And then after that, it was just party hard. And then next thing I know, a few days later, I discovered that I've tested positive for the Coof. And I knew something was up. I mean, Coof. Excellent timing, British night. So like, on the Friday, I was fine, and then on the Saturday, I woke up with a sniffle. I always wake up with sniffles, almost always, anyway, because I have allergies, mainly to do with dust and particles and things like that, which I gave myself. If I'd looked after myself a bit more in the past, I wouldn't have it. What do you mean it makes me look like Davros? I'm not bald. So anyway, I just thought it's nothing. It's just a sniffle. Maybe it was a sniffle. That's all it was. I don't know what happened, how I caught the disease or what. It disappeared during that night as well. I didn't have it for the rest of the day. And then the day after, it was like, oh, I guess I've got a cold. And the day after that, it was like, oh, it's just and exactly the same that happened last week because I had another cold that was worse than this, or maybe it was a flu. I think it was more of a head cold, really. And then yesterday, no, not yesterday, 2 days ago, I was at work and I got a message from the NHS saying you are eligible for your vaccine shot, and I was like, hmm, something's not right. I don't know why. I got this sixth sense. I was like, I need to check myself out. So I just got a free test, went into the toilet in work and tested myself, and then it said I was positive, and I thought, wait, this could be a false positive. So, but just to be safe, I warned my manager, and he said just go home and get a PCR test and see what happens. I got the PCR test results the day after, and I've got the Coof. Oh dear. But it's actually not as bad as the cold I had. The other cold that I had, it was like 2 days where I was like really groggy and horrible. One day I actually had to buy a load of ibuprofen because I was so groggy and like there was a mist in my head, I could barely function. Luckily, I managed to do my work, but then after that, I got better like instantly. Well, couple of days, but like once the worst was over, it was like just on the up. But I think I must have caught COVID as I was still recovering when my immune system wasn't fully there, when it was like not at full strength. I can only speculate. I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah, it is what it is. I have it, and well, it could be worse. The worst that I've had is just muscle ache, and I don't. Was it ibuprofen or was it ibuprofen, South? No. Hello, Sir Adamantine. Guess what I've got? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought it'd be. I didn't really know what to think. I thought, like the first few times that I've been ill this year, I was like, "Is this it?" But it wasn't it, and I thought, "Oh, if this is it, it can't be that bad." And it's actually even less of a problem than I thought it was going to be, at least for me. So, I I shouldn't really complain. I can't complain. I've had it much easier than other people, and yeah, I wasn't the only person. I wasn't the only person to get it. Exactly. I wasn't the only person, although there was some controversy on Twitter about me and some of them, but we're not going to talk about that. So, yeah, that's me. I've got the cough. I can still do videos. I can still like stream. Obviously, it's not affecting my throat much at all. I do sound a bit husky, a bit hoarse, but other than that, I can talk for ages. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming for anyway. I won't be streaming for hours on end. That's just silly. There's no point doing that. But yeah, like, I don't know what else to say to people. Don't worry about me. It's not me you should be worrying about, really. That's how I see it. It's other people that you should worry about. Am I vaccinated? No, I'm not. No, I won't need to be now because I'll have the immunity, won't I? So, yay, I guess. I thought I had COVID one morning when I was feeling a heavy chest and thought it was the beginning of breathing problems. Turns out I just consumed too many Pringles and not enough water. I didn't even know that could happen, to be honest. I thought, like, I don't know, you just eat your Pringles, drink your water. I mean, I do have a slight chest. I wouldn't call it an ache. It's like a bit tight. Other than that, it's nothing. But that's gonna go. Yeah, no, vitamins. All my vitamins. I have plenty of vitamin C in the house and vitamin A too, which is a good antioxidant and can help prevent me getting more stuff as my immune system is now briefly compromised, shall we say. I've got loads of apples and oranges, so that'll help, and some orange juice. And I did have some vitamin D water, or whatever it is. No, pomegranate juice recently as well, so that's going to help. Indeed, what doesn't kill? Well, unless it like decapitates me or not. No, that's the wrong word. If it chops my limbs off, it definitely isn't going to make me stronger. But yeah, yeah, I will get better. I mean, I'm already getting better. I think as far as I'm aware, the worst is probably over. It's just going to be a bit annoying. Like I've not even. I think on Tuesday, no, not Tuesday, Monday, I coughed. I coughed, but it was like a really controllable cough. And I just thought, oh, it's just a cold, and that kind of like when you get the end of a cold, or like at the beginning, you just keep coughing, but it's really annoying. But it wasn't as annoying as that. And it was really controllable. So like I don't know. I've probably gotten past the worst so far. I don't know because I've never had it, so I don't know if this is the calm before the storm. Because sometimes when you have a flu, you can feel better one day and think, "Oh, I'm past it," but then immediately you decline, and then you recover. I don't know. Oh, hi, Foxy, coofing. The Coof heard around Twitter, I guess. Mine Coof was. But yeah, worst possible timing as well to get it as well because of things outside of YouTube and things like that. But it is what it is. The only thing that's remaining for me is the blocked nose and the cough. That's it. After I slept in freezing temperatures last night, I'm feeling that's good. British night. I hope you feel much better. You could even come on the stream if you'd like to. I don't know. Yeah, I am young, but people keep telling you, don't they, for the past year and a half, oh, you never know, you might be that minority that dies. And it's like, well, no, 99.97% chance of survival for me. Yeah, I'm going to be all right. Literally, it's just the muscle aches that are annoying. Personally, that's just my opinion. But, yeah, I think I'd rather have it now, near the end, where it's a different beast to what it was at the beginning. Because imagine if I got the original one, which was much more. I mean, again, it wouldn't be as bad for me, but it was a much deadlier disease, or it was much more harmful, much more annoying. You're double tasking with uni work. Ah, boo, boo. Oh well, I guess it's just going to be me on my own for a while then. But I think I'll stream again next week because I might not have time to make videos. So I'll stream again just to get some material up there so the algorithm thinks this channel is active. Although I did get away with doing 1 week without any content. I released one video on like midnight or something the next week, technically, which the algorithm, I guess it's American, thought, oh, well, it's still this week, even though for me it wasn't. What does it mean when your girl asks if you can? Well, I don't have a girlfriend, so I can't answer that question. Wait, you have a girlfriend and you didn't know how to react. Why are you asking me who doesn't? You're strange. I don't know. Just don't say no because she can get ill. Don't spread shit to people. It's bad. Don't do that. So the next video is going to be about I think a certain community. Well, not even a certain community. It's not really fair. They don't represent most of these people, but a certain group of people might take it the wrong way. The next video because it's about religion, but it's not a critique of religion. It's do certain people on the left and the right do they use it for political gain? Basically, like is it just a tool for politics? Like they become religious, quote unquote. Some of it might be more genuine than others. Like, do they use it to further their own political gains, and do they have to mold the religion to suit their own political beliefs as opposed to just their own personal, like their own personality or their own outlook on the world? It's just a tool. It's a weapon. It's optics. Because I was watching this stream that Six X and Hammer was on, and he was debating some tanky, like a legit tanky. Oh, I don't. I've been laughing all week, Anakin. But thanks. Don't worry. My spirits are not down in any way. I've been taking nick out of myself and other people on Twitter over this. Like, don't worry about it. I mean, it's funny. The day I did my PCR test, I nearly got run over by an e-scooter. Which, yeah, Peter Hitchens was right. One of the few times he's been right. They are a menace. Literally, I'm walking down this road, this really long road, to get to another place in Manchester. Technically, I'm going across two cities to get there because the local testing centre are closed, which, fair enough, as the pandemic is beginning to lose steam, they're closing down the testing facilities. But I had to go from one area to the other, and I was just walking on the pavement, as you do. I couldn't see him, couldn't hear him, and he bashes into my, I think my heel or my leg, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I, because of what's happened that day, I'm like unusually aggressive and just say like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, watch where you're going." But I said it in a much worse way, and then he drove off, but then then dismounted. I don't understand how he didn't see me. Like, how I'm the one who's in front of him from miles away. I can't see him because I'm just walking dead ahead, and he doesn't see me. What was he doing? Did he just? I don't know, because I hadn't even walked past him. He just appeared out of nowhere. That is the worst thing that's happened, really, so far. But anyway, back to the video. I'll go on a tangent. Do people use religion? Yeah. So Saxonhammer accused this other guy who was a tanky. He literally thinks that China can do no wrong and that Xi Jinping is one of the great statesmen of the 21st century. He's a Christian, apparently. This guy. He's called something Daedalus, I think it is. Apostrophe Daedalus, not apostrophe Daedalus. I don't know. Vehicular jihad on my foot or my leg. I can't remember. It might be my back. I don't know. He did. It was quite a bump, to say the least. But anyway, Saxonhammer accused this guy of not really being legit in his philosophical and religious beliefs, and that he's just using it to conform to his politics as opposed to his own self, his own unique individual outlook. And this guy in the comments, who was a right-wing Christian, said that, I see the same thing with the Tradcaths and the NRXs as I do with this communist guy. Zio, you always ask that. What did I walk into? What do you think you've walked into? You've walked into a stream of mine. You always ask that. And that got me thinking, well, is this an issue? Is this a problem? I'm an atheist, so it's like, should I or should I not make this video? Instead, I thought, well, I'll just speculate. I do have my opinion. I do think that religion is separate from politics. Like, well, I don't believe the personal is political, so of course I'm going to say that your own outlook on these spiritual matters, whether you're spiritual or not, is personal. It's not political, and your politics should be separate in many ways. Kind of like how Protestants think that it's not this religion is a personal thing. It's not this. I don't know. What's the difference between Catholics and Protestants? I can't say the Catholics think it's a community thing. That it should be subject to I think it's subject to the Pope or something. I don't know. But the main difference is the Protestants prefer it to be more personal. You don't need a priest. You don't need a hierarchy. You can just talk to God directly, I guess. Maybe that's my Anglican roots, that's been passed down subconsciously. I do think it's kind of personal. It's not political. And that's what the video is about. It might anger some people unintentionally. They might think I'm counter-signaling, but I'm really not. It's just an idea that I saw on a YouTube comment section and the stream debate, and I thought, why not? Let's expand on it. Did I hear about that? Yes, I heard about it. Zio. All your news, all the stuff you asked me about in the news, I've heard about pretty much. I heard about it. It's degenerate. That's all you need to hear about it from me. And I'm surprised it happened in Kentucky, personally. I thought in a place like that would never happen. Like California or maybe Oregon or New York, definitely. But not Kentucky. Kentucky, so weird. I like to believe in life after death, but I'm not sure I'm religious. Maybe I believe in the scientific theory of quantum consciousness. That's not what the video is about. It's not whether or not the afterlife exists. It's whether or not people are using it as a political tool as opposed to a way to guide your life, your personal side of things. That's what it's about. It's not about that kind of thing. It's not a critique. What's this? Dipped out for the stream. Watch it back, not Southner. Terrible, terrible form. What are you doing? So there was this tweet by what's he called? Black Pill? I don't know. There's loads of black pilled people about these days. And he was talking about Should I talk about this on stream, or should I save it for? You know what? Let's have the building blocks of a potential video on this stream, shall we? Too lazy. Tisk tisk. I've got the coof and I'm not being lazy. Well, that's not true. I have been a bit lazy. Hey, I have the right. But basically, Black Pillar, I forgot his name, apologies. He's probably subbed to my channel. He was lamenting the fact that the NRXs and the Tory boys are fighting each other because he likes people from both factions, and he doesn't like to see them fight. We should be united fighting the left. Now, I took umbrage with this tweet, not because like I don't think people should be united more and fight the common enemy and stuff like that, but the fact that he's fallen for what is obviously a trick by the Ayatollah of economics. Doing your part for the Great Reset by getting the Coof. Thank you, Foxy. He's fallen for this trick, and that is that this whole divide is not a thing. It's not. This is a tiny little internet drama between two groups of people. So, for those of you who don't know, Academic Agent, or the Ayatollah, he changed his politics. Well, he changes it a lot, really. He changes it with the wind, but that's neither here nor there. He used to be a libertarian, classical liberal. Now he's a neo-reactionary type. At least that's what he claims. And rather than just be like, this is a sincere, it's not sincere. Rather than just be like, this is my sincere change of opinion, but I'm still friends with my friends who choose not to go along this path. He purged all those people that he used to be friends with, like the Britisher and Rubber, all those people, Harry Yan, for example, and has cast all these people who were liberals and libertarians and all those things in between as Tory boys, because apparently they're all Tories and they all vote for the Conservative Party, even though he has. I haven't, and I'm grouped in that group for some reason. I'm not a Tory. I've never voted Conservative. I don't consider myself a Conservative at all. Yeah, this is the new group. This is the new enemy for his community, which he has now cultivated to become neo-reactionary, Tradgath, that area. And we are I'm not we, because I'm not a Tory, but all my mates, my little circle, we are the enemy, whether we're Tories or not, and we have to be fought because apparently we're worse than the left because reasons. And Black Pill has fallen for this because this isn't an ideological rift at all. It's not. And we may have our disagreements. I mean, when I went to Nomos, those people were there too, but we're not. Stacko has nothing to do with elections. This is drama. This is internet drama. Guys, this is not as serious as you think. So don't take this as like, oh, it's just about the election. Could this do something? No. It's crap. It's bullshit. Basically, where was I going with that now? Oh god, I better not forget what I'm saying. Basically, we all actually get along, but it's like a lot of the fans have taken this to be like some deep ideological rift in a community when it's not really a community; it's a circle. Well, no, libertarianism doesn't fail in that instance, but whatever. It does reflect what people want or need because it uses the free market, and the free market is reflective of what people want or need. By not getting involved in that, people can choose what they want. That's the whole point. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. This is not about ideology. This is about drama. All this, the guy has fallen for what is essentially a publicity stunt, or rather an attempt to galvanize a support base for money, which is what AA is trying to do. This has nothing to do with an ideological split, because none has actually really occurred because AA doesn't believe in anything. And so this guy is worried about people not getting along and things like that. Most people do get along, and the thing is, this is not reflective of either the Conservative Party. Hello, Joss. This is not reflective of the neo-reactionary as a whole, or the Conservatives as a whole, or the Libertarians as a whole, or anybody. Like, most of them don't know who we are, and yet this guy is worried that there's been some massive ideological split within the whole movement. when it hasn't. Yes, yes, Jaws, we are. Nothing has occurred. It's just internet drama. AA is just trying to drum up a new, I guess you could say, boogeyman to coalesce his new fan base around. Really, to get views and clicks for the money, because he can't do it against the left because we're all in agreement against them. But a little bit of drama, a little bit of conflict with other people drums up the views. Again, like this used to happen all the time back in the day. This happens even now in like the commentary YouTube community still to this day. This is classic YouTube tactics. And a lot of these people don't seem to see that for some reason. There really is no actual rift. People have their disagreements, but nobody's in real life, nobody's actually at loggerheads. It's just a few things. Yeah, it's grifters, Trabant. That's what it is. And it's not really even the so-called Tory boys who are grifters. Some of them are, they're a bit wrong on certain things, but they're not. But they're right on others. But AA is trying to create this drama out of nothing. I don't know why. I don't know why he had to turn on them in such a way, but he did. I mean, I did warn them. I warned them that he would do this because, he's a bit weird. Yeah, exactly. It was chill when we met in person. There is no actual issue here. It's just that fanboys, mainly from AA's side, have got it in their heads that these people are legit negatives and need to be dealt with. But really, all it is AA needs to farm views from somebody because let's be honest, he's not getting it from his normal esoteric bullshit that he's now into because nobody's interested in that. When he initially rose to fame, people were watching it because of his astroeconomics and his history videos as well, and because that's what got me into him is his history videos, and also some of his political commentary as well, and some of the memes. Like his sense of humor was really good back then. Now he has none at all. He can't take a joke anymore, and that's really what's provoked him as well. Like because he thinks he can provoke these so-called Tory boys, yet when they fight back, he blocks them. It's like famously there was like a soy chat meme that Ariane did, and AA was so offended by this that he created a block bot so that anytime somebody liked this picture, they got blocked by AA. But yeah, that's the thing. Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends how big they are. Yeah, they do. They do have like 6 fans, I guess, not several thousand. That they're not. But again, the NRXs aren't that big either. And AA's like, well, he's kind of been forgotten. I mean, remember when Michael Malice was asked, like, are you ever going to stream with AA again? And he was like, who? Like, imagine being forgotten by somebody who you literally streamed with not that long before. So it's a big nothing burger, and I feel like I could make a video on it and say it's just a load of rubbish. I might do that. I don't know. Obviously, I'd have to formulate how I'm going to say it much better than now and explain it much better than I have on stream. But yeah, essentially, it's nothing. It's bollocks. It's just him trying to create views with drama. It's the typical YouTube grift. Classic. And the sooner people realize that, the sooner they'll realize that he shouldn't be taken seriously and that he should be ignored and let him have his own little echo chamber, Yeah, that's from a stream, Jay Will. Somebody dared me, I think, on some stream, and I've just kept it for now. I can't be asked changing it. Yeah. Michael Malice streamed with AA years ago or something like that, I think it was. It was when the New Right was published, when they both had about 50,000 subs. And now Michael Malice is massive, and AA is now in his little corner of neo-reactionary thought. Well, he's not even got his own little corner. He's riding the coattails of more accomplished neo-reactionaries. Because I've met a few online, and they're much smarter than whoever he hangs out with, and they don't all read esoteric nonsense. One side wants views, and the other finds it really funny. Yeah, essentially, that's what it is. Although it was really only one person who wants views, and the rest have all been sucked into his little game. You'd think at some point they'd be creative enough to do something different, fresh and new instead of the usual drama grift. Well, you see, AA did that, and I guess he got bored of it. He gets bored of stuff quite easily. it was probably the wrong thing to get bored with, his whole shtick with osteoeconomics and things like that. And he decided to, although maybe, well, then again, he had a few dramas, and maybe some of his old fans were like getting sick of him. I don't know. I got sick with him because of his weird pronouncements on Twitter and creeping authoritarianism, which then I realized quite quickly was just a grift. Tory boys are sad, really, in the sense that they never know the value that most people have to pay. What are you talking about? They're not socialists. They're not even a thing. There are no such thing as Tory boys, Trabant. It's just a fucking label that AA invented to create another group for for views. Who is A? How do you not know who AA is? It's academic agent J. Will. You surely must know who he is. Come on, man. But again, that does serve my point that who is AA, Yeah, Tory boys aren't a thing. Neo-reactionary is a thing, but the people who are considered NRXs that are against the Tory boys are a tiny, tiny fraction. No, not amazing atheist, academic agent. I just told you. Do I have to type it in the chat for you guys? Oh dear. Again, it's amazing. Again, like you don't when you think AA, you don't think academic agent. I do because I've not watched Amazing Atheist for ages. In fact, I just think of him as TJ. But yeah, that's really all it is. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's it. That's everything. The building blocks for a potential video have been created. There, you met actual Tory boys at a UKIP meeting. The tiny. Well, no, they're not. Again, they're not a thing. They're not a thing. It's a straw man. New reaction is post. Yeah. I know, British Knight. Yeah, but even then, you actually look at what Curtis Yarvin actually believes. It's nothing like what some of these other people believe in. I only know him through him being mentioned by you and Aiden. That's a name we don't discuss on this channel, and I think I have some vague memory about him earlier, but I don't think of him when I hear AA. Fair enough. But again, like Curtis Yarvin is far from what I would call esoteric, from what I've read. No. Tory boy does not mean conservative or a Tory party member. Oh, brilliant. This guy still hasn't stopped doing his thing, even with me on the Coof. I hate this guy. I have strong words with this ice cream man. I really do. But again, the Tory boys are not actually real in this drama, all right? You're confusing a Tory party member with people who have been grouped, whether they are or not, as Tory boys. Again, as Joss is saying, but nobody's getting it. It's specific individuals. So I've been grouped in. Joz has been grouped in. British Knight's been grouped in. Harry Ann's grouped in. Then there's some other people who are mainly Twitter personalities like Urquhart, Vanishing Point, Rubber, another YouTuber, the British, I think, at some point. Loads of people. How's my repentance been going, Jedi? I have nothing to repent for because I'm not guilty. And now we've got two Skywalkers in the chat. Brilliant. I was waiting for this moment. Again, look, Curtis Yarvin is actually far more moderate than people think he actually is. From what I've seen, like with all his interviews with Michael Mellis, he just comes across as kind of normal, really. There's nothing that jumps out to me like, oh, this is some deep, esoteric, extreme stuff. Like, he's not. What else? I've never read Nick Land. I've heard that he's quite a bit extreme, but again, like, they're not the same people. So what else? Who else? In the neo-reactionary again, like these are. It's not really one big thing. Neo-reaction. It's many different things. It's a spectrum. Funnily enough, I've met some that are purely pragmatic, who aren't esoteric in the slightest, who are pagans, and I've met others who are Christians who are not very good Christians. And the pagan ones I met were far better. Funnily enough. Yeah, I don't mind Curtis. He's all right. I wish he'd release an actual book with all his essays and stuff, but that would be like thousands of pages. But like I don't know, what was it called again? His blog, Black in Volumes. He should release volumes of his blog as books because that would, I don't know, will just make it easier to read. What are my thoughts on saying that the people in the world don't need an ass kicking? That's a really weird question. But yeah, they do need an ass kicking. I mean, what? I mean, just look at the Zoomers. No offense, Zoomers, or even or even the Boomers. The Boomers needed an ass kicking. Traditional Christianity is practically Sharia. I mean, I don't know. Maybe depends what kind of traditional Christianity. Is it Aryan Christianity? Is it Gnostic Christianity? The Dark Enlightenment is considered the main binding. I still don't know what the Dark Enlightenment is. Is it a book? Is it not like a movement? I'm going to search this now. Oh, it's the blog, right? I always thought it was a movement from like the 19th century or something. See, the Boomers only fucked up because the people who raised them fucked up, Fox Striker. I said it in a video. Unqualified reservations, yeah. Unqualified reservations in like a whole like volume set would be pretty nice. Oh, Dark Enlightenment is Nick Land, is it? Yeah. Right. Would you? Well, Jay, Will, I don't know. Would you be on the neo-reactionary spectrum? We all share views with Yavin. Doesn't mean we're neo-reactionary. Gnostic is heresy. Arian is just no. Not that Arian, Trabant. No, you spelled it wrong. It's the Goths. What the Goths were. What a lot of the German tribes were who invaded Rome. They're not Aryans. It's more Aryan, I guess. The Aryans. It's completely different. I think, if I remember correctly, they believe that Christ was not divine. He was just a normal man. I might be wrong. Not the racial thing. That's completely different. But again, like Christianity wasn't codified during that time until Nicaea. So before that, what you mean by traditional Christianity could mean many different things. That's what I was getting at. Oi, Jet G boy. Arians equals deny Christ. Yeah, that's it. Well, you spelled it wrong. It's Arian. Gnostics, a collection of beliefs, not a central one. Thank you. Arian Goody. Dark Enlightenment is the idea that Enlightenment ideas are fundamentally broken and that there is a need to new Dark Enlightenment to replace the old Enlightenment. Well, that's really cringe. It's really, really cringe. And the thing is, a lot of those ideas have actually worked. It was only when they got abandoned during the 19th century, say like in the 1870s to about the early 1900s, specifically post-World War I, where things started to go to shit. But this is the thing, like, technically ideologies like socialism predate the Enlightenment by thousands of years. Plato, technically, although the Republic is not really his opinion, it's complicated. Technically, probably invented socialism. The Spartans were, for all intents and purposes, socialist, or even feudal, dare I say. So you can't really say that Enlightenment caused all that when it didn't. Democracy means we would have to listen to people who would cringe. I know. And that's why we have to listen to these people. Dark Enlightenment, God. It's so try-hard and edgy, isn't it, It is cringe. I did not coin. I know, Nick Land did. It's cringe. Yeah, the Levelers and the Lollards. And that was in the Renaissance, technically. And even then, they were largely quite different from each other. And then you've got, in the medieval period, a few things like that, A few extreme Christian groups were basically socialists. they don't really try, though, Trabant. Well, some of them do. Like, I don't know. What was Yavin doing before he started going on the interview circuit? He was doing his job, wasn't he, in IT? He wasn't really doing anything. Like, the only people who've really done stuff is, I don't know if Scrump can be even considered NRX, but Scrump's been doing stuff with his girlfriend. I've been trying to encourage people to do stuff and do stuff myself. Yeah, Nick Land is known for being an edgy boy. I heard about that. The Jews of Gem. What does that even mean? See, increasingly, I've been gravitating more towards the egoists and the individualist anarchists more than neo-reactionary thought. Oh, and well, Nietzsche is considered an egoist and an individualist. Really, I don't know if he was an anarchist, but yeah, Stirner, those people don't go there. I still don't get that. I remember seeing a tweet, like, what did he mean by this? It's like, yeah, what did he mean by that? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I've been gravitating more towards that kind of stuff, less with the esoteric stuff, because to be honest, a lot of what they say is actually there's been some you could argue it's not esoteric, but there's been some stuff that I've been gravitating towards which you could consider esoteric, and it's mainly to do with natural rights. Let's just say I've been skeptical of their existence, and I bought this book called no, I heard it in Stirner first. So they're spooks. Doesn't mean they're bad. It's just they're spooks. They're not actually real. That doesn't mean they're bad, and that doesn't mean you can't use them, in your society or whatever. But don't die for them. Basically, they're phantasms. Your life is worth more than these spooks. Basically, is what he says. But that doesn't mean they're not bad. Just don't worship them like idols. Basically. And then there was another book, which I may have quoted him in it, was called The Myth of Natural Rights, which caused a big storm in libertarian circles in the 80s. It was by this he was a Satanist called L.A. Rollins. And he didn't believe in natural rights. And put forward a very strong argument as to why, yeah, Stirner was a troll, but there were certain things he legitimately believed in. And then Rothbard, I've got all the in my copy, I've got all the essays that were written against L.A. Rollins and supportive of him, and the Rothbard really shits the bed. It's just ad hominems. it's like all the people who are, I'm paraphrasing, but to the people who are against natural rights or whatever, shut up. Okay, that's not how you start a debate. And then Conkin the Third, Stephen Conkin the Third, he allowed this other guy who just finished his short book on. What was he called? Crap. Hang on, let me just get the book. The book's called Natural Rights or Never Put a Rubber on You, Willie. Let me just get his name up. Natural Rights or Never Put a Rubber on You, Willie. That's a reference to the Catholics, by the way. Natural Law, Don't Put a Rubber on You, Willie. Robert Anton Wilson. He was a bit of a hodgepodge of different types of anarchism, but that book's really good. He prefers a more scientific approach to rights. He basically says natural law is not a law; it's not scientific, basically, and defends L.A. Rollins and stuff like that. Kizzaism is confirmed and known cringe. Yes, it is. And he will be put on trial in front of the cringe court. A Cameronist. I have no idea what that is. Socialism is when you do something I don't like. Capitalism is when you do something I like. I don't know. I'm not really talking about that. But let's just say that those arguments against the idea of natural law is very it's the truth, Kizza. Let's just say that those arguments were very convincing and that Stirner was onto something, as was Nietzsche as well. Nietzsche was like, look, there's nothing wrong with freedom and stuff, but natural law is not, if you're an atheist, where does it come from, because Anton Wilson says, look, even though they're not strictly speaking scientific laws, if you've got a god, it makes sense. But if you don't have a god, because Rothbard and Conkin, I think Conkin the Third was an atheist. All these people are atheists. I mean, even L.A. Rollins is basically an atheist. He's dead now. Was basically an atheist as a Satanist. Where does it come from? It makes no sense. It's absurd. Does it come from the Earth? Is it from the cosmos? They don't know. Oh, I'm not talking about the state. I'm talking about natural law. And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm really terrible at paraphrasing what other people say. If I did it in written form, it would be much better. But I've thought about making a video on that. And that would really rile up some people. Because that doesn't mean I'm against freedom or, creating rights, that are good for people. But, yeah, I at least know that, no, these are man made, but they're good. But that doesn't mean I should worship them like a god or something, because they're not. You know, Stirner was right. And then I was watching a new channel that I've discovered called what is it? Not the birth of nations. What's that reference? It's a reference to the 1848 revolution. What were they called? Hang on, I'll just find their video that came out. It's not something that really interested me though, but I'll find it. They're here somewhere. Where are they? They're pretty damn good. Hang on, Stirner was not a communist. I think it was. There it is. Springtime of Nations. I get slight weird Fenian vibes from them, and they're Americans, so that makes it even worse. But their philosophical content's really good. And where was I going with them? Okay. Oh yeah, they made me change my opinion on Proudhon, because I used to think that Proudhon was like a commie, but he wasn't. Although he was a bit of a, mainly because it wasn't really his fault because of the economics of the time. He believed in the Labour theory of value and was against usury and stuff like that. Interest, and it's like there's literally no reason to. And he died before the marginal revolution in economics happened, so he couldn't have possibly have known that wages and prices are actually subjective. It's not based on actually the labor that's put into it. It's what you think yourself that the object is worth. That's what drives prices. He didn't know that. But I used to think he was a socialist because, he wrote a book called, was it Property is Theft? Or it's like yeah, but he didn't mean private property. He meant state property. He meant the stuff that the state has taken from people and claimed as its own. And I think Stirner actually responds to him, doesn't he, in the Ego on Its Own, saying that no, property is not theft, as in he must have misunderstood him, because apparently he doesn't mean this, but it was a good rebuttal, even if it may have been a misread rebuttal, that no, property is not theft. Because if you go out into the wilderness and you create a homestead, that's yours, and if you can, and it's yours especially if you can hold it and defend it. Stirner was the first guy I think to say might is right. Oh, hello, Mac. Long time no see. How are you? No, not Birth of Nations. Not Birth of Nations. No, Springtime of Nations. I think they might be Fenians though, like American ones, which, because they have a few in their introduction. It has like a little montage of like separatist movements and the IRAs on them, and I'm like, do you guys know they're communists? Yeah, no, D.W. Griffith. I've still not seen that one. I've seen Intolerance from D.W. Griffith. Funnily enough, well, they're not Irish as far as I know. British Knight, they're just pro-separatist movements. Because they believe in the right of free association. I guess that's the idea, but they have no idea about the history of the IRA, clearly. Not really, Jet Jew. No, he was copying the Italians of the time. He didn't really invent modern cinema. He perfected it, I'd say. You caught it as well. I caught it too, Mac. Hey, we could be Coof siblings. Neither the Yankees nor the Confederates won the Civil. It was it was the Irish. Jedi, you are correct. That makes three of us. Wait, has it been confirmed, British Knight? Do you have it? China got me, yes. I'm not compromised. I'm not paused. I'm just coughed. Coof. It could be worse. But D.W. Griffith perfected one cinema, but he didn't invent it. Because he was copying what the Italians were doing in like with a cabaret, which was like he was like an anti. How do I explain what cabaret is? It's basically the Romans versus the Carthaginians, but it's a metaphor for the Italians as the new up and coming empire attacking the East, like the Ottomans. I think. Yeah, it's boring. But back in it's the highest grossing silent film of all time, kind of like Titanic. I'm not saying Titanic is racist. I'm just saying that two films that are probably not that good the highest grossing film or something. Actually, no, Titanic isn't anymore. It's Avatar, isn't it? But yeah, I watched Intolerance from W. Griffith. I've watched Way Down East. I'm into silent films, in case you didn't know. But yeah, Cabaret was much better. In fact, he copied pretty much all his techniques from that film. You know, with the moving camera, the epicness of it, and like that's on YouTube too. But the problem with silent films is like you need to find a good version that's set at the right speed, and then also has a good soundtrack. So if the soundtrack makes no sense, then there's no point watching it. No. I mean, not just the American. He perfected modern cinema. He did. I mean, it's undeniable that he took those techniques and perfected them. Barely any POC died freezing to death. I think there were a few POC actually on the Titanic, funnily enough. I might be wrong, but I think there actually was. But I can't confirm, but I think there probably was. I mean, people were emigrating on that ship as well. You may like the 30s film Gabriel Over the White House. Bear in mind it was made before FDR was president. Pretty cool how FDR replicated some of these scenes in his own film. Interesting. The Titanic movie is a scene-for-scene copy of the original. Is this a silent film one? Shoveling coal. And no, I think they were Irish, actually, probably, most of those guys. Yeah. But, no, they would have been Scousers, right? It would have been a mix between Scousers and Irish, but then again, what's the difference? I'm joking. Anyway, is laughing at the Guardian on yet? I could stream snipe Harry Ann if you want, guys. I think he is live. Oh no, not yet. Well, yeah, he should be, but he's not live. Coal, not potatoes. Oof. I know they are inaccurate. Nobody's truly white, but no one's truly black either. Have you noticed that? White people are not white. The only people who are white in the world are albinos. It's complicated, Jetji. It's complicated. I mean, they're obviously not, they're obviously not coloured, but whatever. But like, the thing is, it's funny that you say that, but like, even by the 19th century, most English people had some Irish ancestry, and vice versa. Normally 8:39. It says 8 p.m. The bloody boomer. It says 8 p.m. on his thing. There it is. I can see it. All right, I'm going to type in late. What a douche. Nah, I love him really. He's got the Coof guys, so like cut him some slack. He's probably trying to drink enough Lemsip to get him through the stream. Yellow and pink, yes, exactly. And black people are more brown, really. I think that was something that Collective Learning said once in a video that I first saw of his, and I can't remember what it was, but Sargon had shared it and said, this is a brilliant video. And it's like, yeah, if you look at white people and you put like a piece of white paper on the skin, they don't camouflage, do they? Oh, the missus wants to watch Titanic. Oh dear. See you later, Jet Jew boy. So yeah, I'm currently reading, funnily enough, some libertarian literature, but this is like a core text of libertarianism. It's well, this is what Jim Jesus considers to be a core text, and I do agree. I should really read it later on after this. It's called The Machinery of Freedom by David Friedman, who is an absolute Chad, much more Chad than his dad. And after that, I'm going to read Rothbard's For a New Liberty, because Jim Jesus recommended you read both of them, one after the other. But then I've also got to read Lord of the Rings, because I'm trying to get through all my novels as well, but I've been unable to read two at the same time at the moment still, but I will be able to. David, not the other one, not Milton, David, who is in many ways different from his dad and more based. But yeah, then after that will be Rothbard, and then I don't know what I'm going to read after that. I still need to do my research on the fall of the Roman Empire for that particular project. But honestly, I just think I need to read more philosophy at the moment, really. I'm definitely going to make a video explaining in depth why the terms, they don't make sense. But unfortunately, we live in a world where people use them. So it is what it is. So apparently you can now make polls in a you can now make polls in a chat. Apparently, I didn't know that. Ooh, what should I give you guys? Um, how Koofy? Let's do a meme. How Koofy is the stream? Uh, Coof. All right, there you go. There you go, guys. Let's try this out. David Friedman is a Chad, and the unwittingly created one of the best in jokes that I've ever seen, which none of you will get unless you watch a particular video. Oh, Thingy's finally live. Harry Ann's live now. Oh, whoop-de-doo. But I'll just get this video for you guys to watch. This is fun. So basically, there's an in joke in Jim Jesus's community called the Flagpole Arbitration Unit, and you won't get it unless you watch this particular video. Hang on. Let me just find it. So and yeah, he basically David Friedman debated esoteric entity, and a meme was born. I'll just get it for you guys. Hang on a sec. Balls or no balls. So have a look. Coof is currently winning, so it's pretty koofy at the moment, this stream. So there you go. Watch that, guys. I think it's the first part of that debate. They talk about a flagpole, the NAP. Basically, Friedman doesn't believe in the NAP because he has issues with it. His thought experiment about how silly it is really funny. And so once you hear his thought experiment, you will understand flagpole flagpole arbitration. And also realize how dumb esoteric entity is. He used to be an ANCAP in that video, I think, but now he's a left market libertarian, I think. Balls or no balls, Fox? I don't think so. But this isn't a gay stream. How dare you? It's not pro-China, so no Coof. Definitely not pro-China. This is an anti-Chicom stream. I've also noticed that thingy, what's his name? Don the Pleb might be soon provoking the ire of AA's little gang. He's been saying far too many things that go against the mantra, and he's like defending capitalism because, funnily enough, pretty much most of AA's audience nowadays are anti-capitalist. They're anti-capitalist right-wingers, believe it or not, and mainly because they don't believe in materialism, which is weird because you can believe in capitalism and free markets and not be a materialist. But things, technically speaking, all people are materialist to varying degrees. But I think what they really mean is dialectical materialism, which is a communist thing, not a free market laissez-faire thing. And I just find it funny that he still says that he's into astroeconomics, yet he clearly isn't. What? Well, no, I'm not saying that AA has done. I said he will because Don's been defending capitalism, and AA's fans aren't going to like that, and AA will have to appease them in order to get his views and clicks. It's going to happen. I'm not saying that it has happened. The NAP isn't real when you can just get two mates together and use the AP. Is that that doesn't mean the aggression pact. Does that mean like a gun or something? Is that a pun? I might be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking too deeply into that. But yeah, no, Don will provoke their ire, and it's going to happen because he's been quote tweeting these people too, so AA will notice. And AA can't have his cash cow, his view farm, unsatisfied basically, at least for now, until he changes his opinions. Oh, aggression! Yeah, it was the aggression principle. Well, it's might is right, isn't it? Ultimately, as Stirner says, might is right. I mean, what good is the NAP without force? I mean, I don't know. I was reading a bit of Hopper as well recently. Goodbye, Jedi Knight. Cringe Walker. Even Hopper's kind of like aware that you need force. Only way to detask is that to create some new weird fungus. But even Hopper's like, he understands that you need force, but he's but he still kind of wants the NAP. He's still in favor of argumentation ethics. From what I've read one book so far, Getting Libertarianism Right. It's pretty clear that he holds two contradictory ideas. He's for argumentation ethics, which is the NAP, but he's also for the physical removal. And it's like, well, you can't have both. It's either one or the other, in my opinion. And that's why Stirner's might is right makes far more sense. If you've got the force to defend your property, that's yours, and people will respect it. And that is, unfortunately, how human beings operate. I'd love to say that humans argue, which we do, but argumentation is not the only way we settle disputes and property rights and things like that. What even happened to AA? I never paid much attention to him because he bores me, but he seems to have jumped off the rails. It's all an act, Fox. It's just a grift. He couldn't get more out of the libertarian community and the classical liberals for whatever reason that may be, and found that it's kind of like Brett Keane, for those of you who remember. Brett Keane was an atheist, but then found that the Christians gave him more money because I think he had some issues, whether they're real or not, and they donated more to him. So he became a Christian because they gave him more money. And that's probably what's happened with the NRX. The NRX are probably a bit more fervent in their loyalty towards him because of whatever he said at one point. One of his little pet ideologies that he liked for 1 month, and thought, well, they're giving me all this money and views. Well, I might as well just continue cashing out with these guys and get rid of the others because they're going to start clashing. Eventually, you have to find people to pay to protect. Yeah, exactly. If you can't do it yourself, then you're going to have to find other people to help you as well. Which I think David Friedman does talk about in his book. Like, there probably will be private police and things like that, which I think Rothbard says too. But Rothbard wasn't about physical removal, as far as I'm aware. See, it's funny. Once I was on Twitter with, I don't know, I think I ended up talking to some of the Hoppians on there. I can't remember his name. It wasn't Chicago. It was another person. Might have been HP Sauce, whatever he's called. I don't know, Hopper Sauce, and they were talking about how Hopper gets taken out of context or misunderstood. So like he in one particular, it's the physical removal quote. He basically says if these people are supportive of these particular things, so whether it be communism or statism, and then he mentions homosexuality, which is quite a vague term. That could mean literally anything from LGBT leftist activism to just being gay. Just like, I don't think, like, oh, I don't mind people being gay. That could be that. He just says that absolute just homosexuality with no. If he said the activists, wouldn't have been a problem. But it is what it is. He gets taken out of context and accused of being this, that, and the other. And he said they should be physically removed from the Covenant community. And I just went rhetorical and said, well, look at it from these people's perspective. They see physical removal and then they see this, what he's saying, and it's like, well, he wants to literally get rid of them. He wants to purge them. He wants to do this, that, and the other. And then they're saying, no, that's not what he means. He doesn't care that people are gay or black or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he doesn't care. But the way he writes makes it look like he cares. And they said, oh, see, he comes from the German academic way of writing. They deal in absolutes. And I'm like, well, he doesn't write in Germany anymore. He writes in England. He writes in America, not England, where it's different. You have to be specific, not absolute. And he's writing in English. I assume he wrote the book that I read in English. And the other one, I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he still writes in German. And then they told me that physical removal does not mean literal physical removal in that sense. It simply means to remove yourself from them. But then in Getting Libertarianism Right, he literally says that physical removal is literally purging them and using violence, if need be, to get rid of them. This is why keeping to Christianity would keep Hopper right. Hopper's like I don't know if he's Christian or not, but whatever. I doubt it would keep him right. Homosexuality, yeah, it just means being gay, yeah. But in his context, that could mean literally anything from activism to that. And because he deals in absolutes, which to me is a cop-out, massive cope, they're trying to. I don't understand why they're trying to coat his beliefs in sugar. Like, no, the guy is very open about what he believes. Stop trying to sugarcoat it and pass it off for something else. I think that's quite insulting to him. Because then that got me, before I actually read that book, that got me thinking, well, maybe it's not that bad. But then on the other hand, he could be lying. But then in libertarianism is getting libertarianism right. He's not lying. He's being quite honest. And I thought, well, why were they lying to me, or at least wrong? So like, it's pretty, again, like, as a lot of libertarians I've talked to have said, a lot of people who consider themselves Hoppians have not read Hopper. I will read the other stuff though. I've got quite a few of his books. I've got Democracy, the God That Failed, A Theory of Socialism and Capitalism, and I've got another one somewhere. I forgot what it was. And I do plan on getting some other books as well, because I think the idea was to do a video on him, because Esoteric Entity in the is his mate, whatever he's called. They did a whole video series trying to debunk, trying to debunk his book, Democracy, the God That Failed, I think it was, or just his beliefs in general. Like, if I was to do a video, it wouldn't be to debunk him; it would just be to discuss it. Just be like, okay, so this is what he actually believes, blah 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 blah, and then I'd get, maybe at the end of the series, maybe it'd be 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 videos. I'd be like, well, this is what I think, blah 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 blah. He's a Sith Lord. No, he's not a Sith Lord. He's German, which is probably worse. Yeah, for a libertarian, he is really German. I will say. But then again, it's so funny. At one point, he was talking about left and right wing libertarians. Like, can you be a right wing and be a libertarian? Can you be left wing and a libertarian? And then at one point, you say, there are these fake libertarians that work with the left to do stuff, and that's really wrong. And I thought, what, like Rothbard? Because Rothbard did that. He allied himself with the New Left in 1968, up until like the 1970s. So it's okay for his mentor to do it. Although he did criticize him in the 90s, fair enough, because he then allied with Buchanan, didn't he? And the Hopper was like, well, why the hell did he do that? That was so wrong. He's a National Socialist. Which I thought, well, based. That's not me calling Buchanan one, that's Hopper calling him one. Democracy isn't a god, and it failed because people are ignorant and it isn't actually enforced. If anything, it succeeded, right? Because we're more collectivist now, right? Because that's his problem with democracy. He views democracy as a tyrannical rule of the collective, of the majority, right? If I remember correctly. And he would prefer, he doesn't want to, but he would prefer to live in a monarchy, because being under the rule of the minority is apparently better. Which, to me, if you're an anarchist, I'm not an anarchist, but I am in spirit. I'd think you wouldn't want either, right? Really? Isn't that the same argument? The same argument against democracy could be applied to monarchy. Power invested in a group of people is terrible, because because people in groups are fucking stupid. But then so is investing absolute power in one person, because as we know, power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Man shall not lie. Yes, yes, yes. I know Leviticus and all that. I know. But unfortunately, it doesn't purport to reality, Trabant. That shit happens even with animals. So, it's meant to be against natural law, yet you see it happen in nature and whatever. We don't know what causes it, but it's pretty clearly not unnatural, but whatever. Democracy is only the majority of the public. Minorities don't get any right. Yeah, they do. They do. They just don't win. That's the problem. They get representation. They just don't win. Well, you can believe whatever you want, Trabant. This is a free stream after all. But yeah, personally, my take is that both democracy and the monarchy is retarded. I'm not a monarchist, unlike most of the people I live with, and also in my country and people that I associate with. I'm not a monarchist. I'm more. I guess you could say I'm a Republican, because I guess if I was to have my own country, it wouldn't be a democracy either. Really, I'm not against democracy. I just don't think it works. So it wouldn't be a democracy; it would be a republic. Oh, hey, Near Edge. How did you know? Oh, was it on Discord? Yeah, I do, but I'm all right. Don't worry about it. I'm absolutely fine. I could be worse. Although I'm gonna have to get a drink at some point. Actually, they don't. Mob rule. I don't agree with mob rule, but yeah, it would be a republic, I guess, my ideal state, but not a democratic one. You know everything. Ooh. But yeah, I guess that's what it would be. But I've not really thought about it much. I do need to read. I need to read discourses on Livy, which is what I've got. The problem with people who aren't Republicans is a problem with responsibilities. Well, I believe in I think Heinlein's idea of a republic is pretty good. You know, with you know doing your part. You know the what's the slogan? Heinlein public service guarantees citizenship. That's what it is. If you don't get skin in the game, if you don't have skin in the game, if you don't do the service, you aren't a citizen, basically. But I guess, but in his thing, it would be voluntary, wouldn't it? So you don't get to vote, but other than that, you live your life. I guess you pay your tax. I don't know. I'd have to properly read Starship Troopers again. But basically, so if you don't have skin in the game, then you don't become a citizen. If you don't have responsibilities, and you incentivize people to do it, I guess. It is the best way of doing a republic. Yeah, I'm just doing a bad job of explaining it. And it's not actually a democracy because it's oh, you've read it. All right. It's not even a democracy technically because it's a limited franchise. And even then, like, the people who aren't technically citizens are not they're not like oppressed in any way. In fact, if anything, you're encouraged not to be one, which makes people want to do it more and more because then the cream rises to the top, if I remember correctly from the film. I guess like they're literally saying, "Is this really what you want, guys?" Because you know this is a lot of responsibility. If I remember correctly from the film, meritocratic, accountable technocracy. It's not a technocracy, really. It's just a limited franchise, really. It's meritocratic. Yeah, it's basically Nassim Nicholas Taleb's wet dream. That just ends up with it wouldn't only be women. Why would it only be women? Because part of the ways to become a citizen is to join the army, among other things. So men would totally be able to become citizens. It's service guarantees citizenship, which could be literally any kind of service. Yeah, if you could be a public servant. You could work in a hospital or whatever, you know. Even in the parody film, they got out of their way to not make plebs into humans. Yeah. It's so funny how Verhoeven completely he didn't even read the book, and he thought he was doing a parody of fascism, but he wasn't. He was creating the ideal republic. Free republic as well, which I thought was funny. But then again, I don't think he actually wrote the screenplay. He just directed it. I might be wrong on that. Damn, I've been going for an hour. I better stop soon anyway. But because I think Harry-Ann will need the views. He needs that extra 11 people. I'm not cervix guarantees citizenship. Oh, did Jay will think I said cervix and I said service? God damn it, Fox. No, with you, it's Fox Tails guarantees citizenship or something, or Cat Girls guarantees citizenship. Ooh, ooh. But yeah, by the end of this year, I could end up being an anarchist. You never know, guys. I'm getting fed up with the state. Every time I've been thinking in my head about stuff, I go, bloody statists, bloody statism. I think I'm turning into one. It guarantees my arousal. Most countries have this in the past forced on everyone to. What is that service? Service is voluntary in Starship Troopers, J. Will. You don't have to become a citizen. In fact, you're encouraged not to be. because it's really tough and arduous. I think I might be wrong. If you do this, give me a do what? Uwu, Uwu stuff? No, thank you. This is not a degenerate stream. Yeah. I think I'll conclude. Nomos was good, load of fun. I have much beef with that building called Parliament. Well, we all do here. If I become anarchist. All right. Well, I don't know yet. I'm gravitating more towards it, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. See, part of me still like, well, this is what I don't think I've come up with this, but I do believe that there is a tendency for all human societies to tend towards building a state, but then also that state collapses because it gets too big, and then anarchy reigns. But anarchy is very fleeting; it doesn't actually last very long because people being herd-like, being scared of liberty, the fear of freedom, they formulate tribes, and then the process happens again. Because you don't start off straight away with a state. You start off with your families and then your tribes, and then you can confederate the tribes and you become a kind of like a kingdom or something. Then the state is formed. That could be a city state or a country state. Then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it could become an empire or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then it collapses because it becomes too socialist. And then again, anarchy, and then you get your minarchist. Then you get your primitive societies and your minarchist states, and then blah 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 blah. It might not always work like that, but it seems to me, from what I've seen, that is the case, and that is what's stopping me from being an anarchist, because I don't know if anarchy is sustainable. Don't worry about it, Kizza. If a balloon pops, should one never blow a balloon? Very true. But if the state popping isn't always a bad thing, but we're talking about the blowing up process, like, how do you stop it from? Should you only blow up to a certain point, but then can you stop yourself from blowing up all the way to the top? Gravitating towards interstellar feudalism, so my future descendants can fight each other over birthright in giant mechs. Oh, fox. But anyway, I think I shall end it there. The Coof, not that bad. Don't worry about me, guys. I'll be fine. Worry about other people in your life. I'll be fine. And then until next time, it's been your boy, and I'll see you all later.